Good morning. Welcome to Convertible Conversations. I'm taking some time this week to kind of go through my testimony or tell my story, if you will. And yesterday I talked about how I grew up in the church and some things like that and made a commitment to be a preacher when I was about 11 years old. Well, I real quickly kind of forgot about that because I also started playing trumpet that year. I had a little aptitude for it, and things started going well musically for me. And as I look back on it now, I actually made music my God. It was the most important thing in my life. Now, I wouldn't have said that, of course, but my actions showed that. I still went to church every Sunday out of habit. When I was in junior high, I started coming to band camp at the University of Kansas. And at that time, the camp was 6 weeks long. I came for 5 summers. And I loved Lawrence. I loved KU. I loved music. I loved the trumpet teacher and the band director there and everything. So I came to the University of Kansas. And I started a jazz group, a band, actually my freshman year in college. And we were very fortunate. We did very well. Now, during that time, I still went to church every Sunday, to the church of my denomination, and I still prayed. But most of my prayers were, oh, God, please get me out of this fix, or please take care of that, or please help me. If you'd looked at my life, I looked like anything but living a Christ-like life. And I was... I played in bar scenes and stuff like that, and played all that kind of stuff, and so that's where I was. That's what my life was like. Towards the end of my time at the University of Kansas in 1968 or so, a church downtown, a large church downtown, had a new pastor there who was an extremely good communicator, and it was a very, very liberal church, and all the messages were about social justice and things like that. But right away, they started having huge crowds. After a few months' time, they had 3 services on Sunday morning, all of them with closed-circuit TV. And that pastor was a piano player and a music fan, and he liked me and he liked my band, and we started doing jazz worship services there. We'd play songs like I played just a little bit ago, we do Closer Walk with Thee, When the Saints, Amazing Grace, and What a Friend We Had in Jesus, but we would jazz them up. We liked that, and the people liked that too. So I met my wife my junior year. There we get married and we go to that church. We're involved in that church. We start our married life, start having kids. I bought a local music store and was very involved in the music scene. I became the bandmaster of the Kansas National Guard Band. So I was still playing with my band. I was playing at church. I was playing with the National Guard Band. I was playing at nightclubs and things like that. So music was a huge part of my life. That was a very, very liberal church. Nice people, really nice people. After a while, that man left and moved on, and my wife and I started going to the largest church in town, which was also a super liberal church in town. We went there because many of my KU professors went there. A lot of the friends that I was playing for at the country club went there. A lot of business people went there. And the pastor was a really cool guy. He and I were really good friends. And he was a musician. He was a baritone, euphonium player, very good. Actually, by that time, the dean of the School of Music was the organist there, and he was a great improviser. Now, we went to that church every Sunday. We were very involved. My wife was involved in Sunday school. I was on the board. There was never, ever any talk about a personal relationship with Jesus. There was no talk at all about anyone owning their own Bible. And while they read the scripture on Sunday mornings and had the lectionary and things like that, the messages were about social issues. And I liked that. Everything seemed to be very fine. They were nice people. So that's where we were. We're there for over 10 years in those 2 different churches. Living in Lawrence, being involved in the largest church in town, believing that that's what religion was all about, that's what Christianity was all about, not really hungering for anything anymore, being glad to do my music, had my music store, started a nightclub, a jazz club during that time, continued to play with my band and be in the Army Reserves. By the way, could I say I was a workaholic? I was a workaholic. And most of my work evolved around music. Music was really my life. I'm not proud of that. My family suffered because of that. I suffered because of that. My friends suffered because of that. But that's where I was. I got my meaning. I got my self-worth. I got all of that from music. And in the entertainment field, you get a lot of accolades. You get, standing ovations and people wanting autographs and telling you how good you are and all that kind of stuff. And it's not a good way to live when you make that your focus and when that's your identity. And it wasn't a good way for me to live, but at the time, I didn't know any different. Tomorrow, I'm going to tell you where the story starts to change. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.